Some of us were raised in homes where we were never truly raised. Not emotionally, not mentally, not spiritually. We were simply managed, fed, clothed, and told what to do, but never nurtured, protected, or seen. And what's worse, we were often the ones doing the raising of ourselves. Narcissistic parents don't always abandon their children in the ways that we recognize. They do it in subtle, strange, and confusing ways that leave you feeling like you had to grow up far too early. And somehow, still weren't enough. Let's talk about some of the odd, invisible ways they left you to raise yourself. They made you the adult in the room. From a young age, you were the peacemaker, the helper, the one trying to make everything okay. Your emotions weren't just dismissed, they were inconveniences. If they were in a bad mood, it became your job to fix it. You learned to read their faces before you ever learned to read a book. You learned to soothe them before you were ever soothed. So you became the adult, and no one ever checked on the child inside you. And then there's this, they gave you freedom so they didn't have to parent. They'd say things like, "You're so mature for your age," or "I trust you to handle it." But that wasn't love, it was avoidance. They gave you the illusion of independence to justify not showing up. You made your own meals, handled your own problems, walked yourself through your own heartbreaks. What looked like trust was actually neglect. Then they punished you for having needs. When you asked for comfort, they called you dramatic. When you needed help, you were too much. When you cried, they told you to stop being so sensitive. So eventually, you stopped asking. You swallowed your feelings. You handled everything silently because that's how you survived. But inside, you felt completely alone. They only valued you when you performed. You learned early that love was conditional. When you got good grades, did well in sports, or made them look good, they showed affection. But when you struggled, failed, or needed too much, they withdrew. So you hustled for love. You became an overachiever, a perfectionist, the strong one. And now you don't know how to stop. They made themselves the victim. So you'd feel guilty for existing. Anytime you expressed pain, it somehow became about them. You were ungrateful, too emotional, disrespectful. And suddenly, they were the one hurting. So you apologized. You doubted yourself and you tucked your truth away. Over time, you learned that being honest costs way too much. So you silenced yourself to protect their ego. They called you independent, but you were just alone. They bragged about how low maintenance you were, how easy you were to raise. That's because you did the raising. You didn't ask for much because you knew you wouldn't get it. You didn't act out because you knew no one would show up. You became the strong one because you had no other choice. And now, when people offer help, you don't know how to accept it. They expected you to be who they needed, not who you were. Your identity was shaped around their moves, their dreams, and their expectations. You became who they wanted you to be, not who you truly were. And now, as an adult, you're trying to remember the parts of yourself that got buried just to keep the peace. The healing, it's in the remembering and in the reparenting. You were left to raise yourself, but it's not too late to become the parent you needed. You can give yourself what they never could: compassion, protection, stability, and truth. You are not broken. You are becoming, and you don't have to do it alone.